no school can refuse admission based on the disability of a child. In a normal so-called mainstream school, at one point the child also understands that I am a little different from my peers. You must see the attitude of the head of the institute. If the head of the institute is like refusing accountability, so that is a red flag. Acceptance is, I think, the first and foremost thing. If the child is stuck, if the child is not showing any kind of improvement, rather some child show regression. So in that case, the parents should try a special school. As special educators, we also look at the strengths. We try to increase the strength, fortify the strength, and then slowly we try to work on the deficit part also. You need to sensitize them, you need to train them. Even the parents of the neurotypical children, they should say, no, they are your peers, they are same.
Every parent deserves the best for their child, the best schooling, whether the child is autistic, whether the child is non-autistic. But for individuals with autism, their parents, for them, the journey, it becomes little bit emotional, maybe too emotional, challenging as well as overwhelming. Should you choose a special school or a regular school? Whether inclusion will work or not? Why not regular school? These are all the conflicts and concerns that parents they regularly face. Welcome to today's episode at India Autism Center podcast, where we will be discussing all these genuine concerns of parents with precision, compassion, and utmost genuineness and care. I'm your host, Pooja Datta, and today to guide us through this, we have with us Ms. Shutapa Bose, an RCI registered special educator with years of experience supporting children and their families in the spectrum through some of the toughest decisions. Welcome, Ms. Shutapa.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you for having me.
It's a privilege, ma'am, to have you at our podcast.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Let's start with the most basic question, ma'am, that is often a confusing question for most of the parents. What exactly is special education? Is it therapy? Is it school? Is it early intervention? And if the child is already undergoing early intervention or a therapy, then why special school?
So to answer you have two questions actually. So answer your first part. Special education is a specially designed program. It is a dedicated program for a child who is on the spectrum, obviously, child or an individual, you can say, which caters to the individual needs and requirements, and it caters to the individual strengths and deficits. Why I am saying strength, because many people kind of forget that these children or these individuals also have some strengths. They have some unique strength, and we sometimes we ignore them, and we just keep on working on the deficits. But if we work on the strengths also, then the deficits, the learning gap or the skill gap gets stitched faster and in a much better way. So special education is a specially designed program, you can say. If you say whether it's a therapy or a school, so I would say that special ed, as a professional and also a parent of a boy with autism who is 18 plus, who is on the spectrum, and also who has communication disorder, I would say, being in this field for so many years, special education is a therapy when we work with the other therapists also, because we use specially designed strategies, we use special tools, and we work with the individualized education program like IEP, etc. So that is a therapy if you come to think of that. And it is also a schooling part, because we work with the inclusive setup in a so-called mainstream school, and also there also we try to train the children. So when we think of this schooling part, it is a schooling program, and when we think of integrated therapy mode, then it's a therapy. And yeah, so that's about it.
So, ma'am, when to decide to give a child to the special school? Because with special school, there is lot of stigma. There is lot of misconceptions and anticipations.
Right.
So, when do parents, they decide that we have to put the child to a special school?
So yeah, I think of late it is a kind of social stigma that my child is not going to a proper mainstream school, and like why a special school? My neighbors will ask, my relatives will ask. I have also faced so many problems. So um, parents do have some pointers when they can decide, like I would say of late we have destigmatized it a little bit, because awareness is growing, and education training programs are so have become quite widespread, so it has been destigmatized a little bit socially. But still parents do have this inhibition whether to send, because sometimes they think that autism or other comorbidities or intellectual disability for that matter, they are curable of with time they will get cured. Parents are in a dilemma whether to put it, because there is also a fear like a child will learn some behaviors or some activities in a special school which the child was not showing earlier, but we can control them. But there are some pointers which parents should take care of, take note of, which maybe the child is stuck in a school program, the child is completely stuck, whether the child is going in a like class 2, class 3, whatever, the child is unable to do anything that is being done in the mainstream classroom. Like there are some key problems that I face every day, like mothers keep calling me, ma'am, he or she cannot copy from the board, every day he cannot copy at all. So these skills are missing, which are extremely required in a mainstream school. Moreover, then the uh, constant complaints keep coming from the school teachers, like the child is not behaving properly, the child is lost, child is not paying any attention to whatever is being happening in the class. And most common problem is also the child is hitting someone or beating the peers, this thing pushing. So the what happens is the school people keeps the onus on the parents. So these are pointers. If the child is stuck, if the child is not showing any kind of improvement, rather some child show regression, so in that case the parents should try a special school. And you should not think that in a special school the child will get stuck, the child has lost all improvement. No, the child is not stuck. In fact, the child in a special school, if it is a proper special school, like I said earlier, the school will work on the strength of the child also. We look as special educators, we also look at the strengths. We try to increase the strength, fortify the strength, and then slowly we try to work on the deficit part also, processing deficits or whatever deficits have. And there is periodic assessment of the child, how much improvement the child is showing, like that. But in a normal so called mainstream school, these all will be missing, and the child might show regression. And at one point the child also understands that I am a little different from my peers. That understanding also comes, and that psychologically affects them negatively, and they also start showing some kind of behaviors which we call like maladaptive behaviors. The child is not properly behaving in a school. How will he or she behave properly? He is realizing, that realization is there, that I am a little different, I am a little unable to cope up with the kind of curriculum or whatever activities that are being done in the school. So in that case the parents should take a call. But the point is that you just have to pick and choose a proper special school which is benefiting your child in the long run.
So, ma'am, you told about your experience. So, we
Right,
also come to know that you are a mother of an individual
right,
who is in the spectrum.
right.
So, your experience with your son giving special education inputs, how it has worked, that will be lot more insightful to the parents watching there.
So yes, I am in this journey for quite long, and I have been guiding the young mothers whose children are recently diagnosed with autism. I know how hell breaks loose when your first child or your only child gets such a diagnosis. So my journey started when my son was like 2.5 years old. He was not picking up speech. So we thought he's a delayed speech, like how relatives they say that boys are lazy, that's why they are not speaking. So some people say, "Ha, bolega." At that time, I was staying in Delhi. My son was born in Delhi. So he was. I thought it was just, even my pediatrician. I must confess this. Like pediatrician also said, "Are you a doctor or I am a doctor?" I was thinking that why he is not speaking. Like all that time, I could see that some of the neighborhood kids who are of the same age bracket, they have started saying at least a few words. So I was saying, but then the doctor also ignored for then another 6 months passed. Then one of my relatives came to stay with us in Delhi, and he was a doctor. He was a practicing clinician. He was a doctor. He said that I am a general physician, but I can see the child does not have only speech delay. He has something else. He did not name the autism or any such thing. He thought parents will have a breakdown or whatever. So he was a close relative. So then we did not waste a single day. Me and my husband immediately took my son to a Vimans, which is a famous neurological center in Delhi. We took him, and that was a Sunday. I clearly remember that only doctor was available, and she immediately told me the child is too young, so I'm not labeling him. It is if the child is below 3 years, only that time I came to know. But he has some. He is on the spectrum, autism spectrum disorder. Start his intervention immediately. Don't lose time. But I am not his like ma'am's prescription was, there was a big question mark. He did not wanted to. He did not. She did not want to label the child at that very moment. But she clearly told us, please start with the intervention immediately, here or somewhere else, wherever you find. And I also did not waste any day, and I immediately started with the early intervention thing. So that was kind of awareness that we had, or acceptance we had. ठीक है, अगर if there is any problem, we'll just sail through it. If you take time to absorb things, accept things, then the child is losing on those valuable time. So child will remain stuck, child will not develop. And so you should, the acceptance is, I think, the first and foremost thing. So my journey started from there, and we continued from early intervention. Then some people suggested to me, just try in a special school. This is also a very important aspect. Whenever you are trying, you already know the child is lagging behind in most of the important areas. You can try in a special school. You can keep a shadow teacher or a help, because I mean, the an inclusive setup. The mainstream teachers, what they have is they have a lot of curriculum to meet, and lot of children to cater to, and so they don't cannot give that one-on-one attention. For that, you need a help. I was shadowing my child. That time I didn't know any shadow teacher, so I was shadowing my child for 2 years. And there were some targets like putting the child in a routine, making the sitting tolerance develop in a child, or like peer interaction, sharing tiffin, waiting for the time, standing in a queue. All these things, those targets were achieved in a school. But the academic goals, as far as the academic goals were concerned, my son could not do that. So he was not academically that bright. I mean, when he was in class 2 or something, 2 or 3, second or third standard, I think, then I thought the gap is too huge. Then I immediately shifted him to a special school, where his unique strengths will be addressed, where he can build from his strength, not work on the deficits and get frustrated. So that was a lesson. I think I'm like blessed that I had the acceptance immediately. I accepted that yes, he is a different child. Um, he is different from the other group of children. So that acceptance has to come first, and just work on that. Keep working on that.
So, the parents, there are also young parents.
Right.
For us, acceptance is not always easy. Though you can
Very
internalize
difficult.
it, but we
Very
can
difficult.
definitely understand that saying that you need to accept, you have
Mm.
to accept, that creates additional stress for parents
Right.
who do not understand what is acceptance. How do I accept? Leading to a
Correct.
lot of guilt in them.
Right.
So, ma'am, being an experienced professional and an experienced mother, what would you suggest to these young parents?
So I keep counseling the young mothers that you are the first and foremost person in your child's life. You have to be stable. physically as well as mentally. You have to be stable. You have to make the whole family understand. If the whole family understands at the heck of it, then it's very fine. But sometimes, like, one parent is sensitized, like one parent's acceptance is there, but maybe the other parent is refusing. Sometimes I see they take from like one temple to another and do all those things, which I am not refusing. I am not asking them not to do, but do this. But along with that, go for the interventions also. But you see, like, no one can teach you to be strong. These are some of the things are self taught. You need
Innate.
to you have to just understand that if I fall back, if I just go into depression or whatever, I don't want to use these terms, I don't like these terms, but okay, if I go into this kind of mental state, then my child will be the most suffered person. Everybody else, if I don't take him to the therapies or intervention, whatever is required, then he will be the worst sufferer. So I have to be stable. This is my, I know both the parents should take equal responsibility, but the mother is the first and foremost caregiver. I'm sorry to say, they will say why not the father and all. I don't go into all those things. You be strong, you be stable, take care of your health, physical and mental, and be with your child. Do whatever it takes. I used to run from pillar to post. I didn't know what kind of therapy would work best for my child. And instead of like blaming, like usually the couples do blame game, like it is because of you, the child. And please, for God's sake, it's a biological matter. It's a condition. It is not due to parental fault or bad mothering or bad fathering. Nothing of that sort. Just work on it instead of thinking what, why me, why all these things, going into bad mental state. Please start working, be proactive, start working, start supporting your child from and the day you start it, the day the improvement starts. And if you as a mother or you as a father is not in a denial mode, it is your child who is losing on the vital time. Just you have to be, when the mothers, like, they cry over phone, like in Delhi, I keep counseling them and all. So I said, bhai kone mein jaake rona dhona khatam kar lo. It is not helping your child. It is just you are losing, your child is losing some valuable time, and you are also going to a bad mental state.
Mm.
So it is not helping anybody. Be strong, self counsel yourself. It has to be self taught. It's a self taught skill. How I can be with when nobody else will understand, if you don't understand as a mother or a father for that matter.
That was very impactful, and
Thank you. I
it's
hope the message goes to the right people.
yes, that is why this is the platform, ma'am, where the right person gives the right message, coming from an experienced mother. Before moving to the next question, please have a look at who we are at India Autism Center.
Imagine a space designed not just to care for individuals with autism, but to empower them. A place where knowledge grows, support flourishes, and possibilities expand. This is India Autism Center. It is built to redefine how we approach autism. Through education, research, and community driven initiatives, we create an environment where individuals with autism can thrive. Samavesh, our residential campus, is designed for individuals with autism to live, learn, and grow with dignity and independence. It is more than just a place to stay. It is a space to belong. Manan, our training academy, prepares professionals to provide specialized care. Through structured programs, we equip individuals with the skills to support neurodivergent communities with confidence and compassion. Khoj, our research division, is dedicated to advancing our understanding of autism. Through data-driven studies and collaborative research, we work towards shaping the future of neurodiversity.
Coming back to the podcast, ma'am. We know there are so many legal rights for parents, for children.
There are.
There are. But we still do not have clarity when we try to really get it. When the question of implementation comes.
Most of the things are on papers.
Yes, and it is vague. So can you discreetly, ma'am, clarify on the rules and regulations meant for parents of individuals who are in the spectrum?
Sure. So we have RPWD Act, Rights of People with Disabilities. It came very recently, like 2016. It is covering 21 disabilities. Earlier, it was not covering autism as a disability, because autism, they say like it's a condition. How can we? So, but now after so many research work and all, they have accepted autism as part of those 21 disabilities, so that they also get those facilities provided. So, and RPWD is a very strong act. People are getting aware, but I know that much awareness is not there. Then there is NTA, National Trust Act. I think it came into being in 2009 or something. Anyway, they also help, like they also focus on the early intervention services, because as catch them young, like we say na, catch them young. So as early as you put the children in a proper therapeutic conditioning or therapeutic ecosystem, the child develops faster. Then there is like NTA, which came into being in 1999. NTA has a very good program. It's Disha. Disha also is very popular among most of the Indian. If you want to avail government systems, it also caters to the individuals with autism, ID, multiple disabilities. So these acts are there, and apart from this, RCI, which is came into vogue 1992, I guess. So RCI has also made a few mandates, and mandates like every school need to have a special educator, and special educators need to have RCI license. So all these things have come from RCI, Rehabilitation Council of India. Like we also are license holders, and without a license it is wrong to practice in a field. So RCI also, and schools are following also those things. And I think once you come to know that you are a special parent, you should go into like whatever websites, and you should avail these things. If you don't want to avail the government facilities like Ayushman Bharat and all, don't go for it, but be aware of what are the rights you have. So this is also again your responsibility to be aware of the laws of the land. There are a few laws, when it comes to exercising the laws, you face a few hurdles, but then what can be done? We have to cross the hurdles and take advantage.
Yes.
Just be aware.
We also see there are high functioning adults or there are high functioning children with autism.
Right.
Do they get these rights, ma'am? Do have these educational rights?
They do have, but you have to get the diagnosis. Something like IQ like below 50% and all. There is a bar. Then they can avail all the rights. But if it is beyond that, then the things are not available.
So that is the question or the concern, ma'am. What's your take on it? That there are many individuals who are in the spectrum, but they are high functioning. They have their average IQ, but they also need support in their day-to-day life activities.
They need support, but they need less support. The other people need more support. So government is making available the privileges to them first. Maybe you you never know. Maybe in the long run they will also be included.
Right.
In the year, but the people who need it more are being facilitated now, and they are more self-dependent. So they can go and earn. They can do something.
There are many schools, they subtly refuse education to individuals who are in the spectrum. At times, parents are apprehensive that whether to say or not. Because if we disclose, maybe the school will refuse, which happens in many of the cases we hear. In that case, what are the legal rights of the parents? Whom do they approach?
Right. So legally speaking, parents do have rights, and first and foremost, this I have learned from experience. Many of my friends have faced this with their children when they went to take admissions for their child in the mainstream schools. The schools outrightly refused. So, and you can run from one door to another. It will take so much time. It might take 1 year time. So first is the parent must ask for a written refusal. You are refusing my child admission in your school. Please give me in a written form. Please mail it to me. because like again I would come back to the laws of the land, like RPWD, they have a mandate, like section 16 or something, they have a proper mandate that no school can refuse admission based on the disability of a child. They cannot discriminate a child's admission, it is clearly written. So parents can approach the lower courts, local courts and everything. Like Delhi High Court has a very few cases, very many cases of schools refusing admissions. And I don't know if I should say this, these days like social media is very popular, like it's very effective. Bring it to notice. What's the harm? Bring it to notice. Other people will also get benefited. Like my child is getting, but it has to be a real case, not fake cases. Is getting refused from such and such school. So I need help. You never know. Things might change, but there are laws. You can approach them. But first, you should ask for a written refusal from the school authority, from a proper authoritative figure.
So, ma'am, schools cannot
No, they cannot.
refuse
Right.
on disability ground.
No.
So, when parents are going to a school for their children, what all observations should they make? Because usually the flashy schools, we all want our children to be in the best of the schools possible according to our best of the
Sure.
capacity. So, what should they observe? And what are the red flags that they should be, they should be aware of, that this is not the right place for my child?
Right, there are some things that you should be vigilant of, closely vigilant of, the parents, I must say. If you have already, initially it is difficult to find out whether the school is catering properly to my child who is probably on the spectrum. So even after admission, if you see before admission, you can check a few criteria, like the head of the institute, if they are of approving of these things, like if they have knowledge enough that these things do exist, these kinds of behavioral patterns do exist, do they have a knowledge. And second is resource room. A school must have a resource room. Third, also the special educators and the counselors, either of them should be present, or both of them rather should be present. And even if you have put the child in the school already, you must see the attitude of the head of the institute. If the head of the institute is like refusing accountability, they are just refusing. I can't say why your child is not progressing. I can't take responsibility. They're putting the ball on the court of the parents. So head of the institute should be sensitized. So that is a red flag. Sometimes there are bullying issues coming up. They get reported by other people. Again, that is a red flag for the parents. And again, there are sudden unexplained behavior come from the child. They just refuse to go to the school. That you should be vigilant of, and that you should investigate and find out why this sudden change. There might be some physical harm also going. I have cases in my previous organization. Two kids used to come. We could see like pinching marks and all. They are small babies, and they used to go a very reputed play school, and we could see all those things. The parents have come and showed us. So you ask for the CCTV footage and everything. So these are all red flags you must be vigilant of. And if the school is too arrogant, and the school is totally ignorant about the, or ignore, not, if not arrogant, totally ignorant about what is happening with the child or everything, then you take a call. You cannot keep the child just quarreling with the school people and keep the child going. The child is then again getting
Retaliation
stuck.
will start.
Yes, and child will develop some maladaptive behavior. Then more problem will start, and you will have to settle them at home. So those things will happen.
So, this is a very important note. We
See,
shouldn't wait, because it is the child who is
not
suffering.
wait for very long, because if it is harmful, you can just pursue with the school for some time. And if you can see, that's why I said the head of the institute has to be a sensitive person. He or she has to be sensitive person, accepting person. He can only control the ecosystem within the school. Parents from outside cannot do that.
So, our experience says, ma'am, there are small schools
Hmm.
who are very sensitive, who are very,
Yes, yes.
centered. They center around
Mm.
children with special needs,
Mm.
but there are big profiles. We are
Right.
speaking the reality,
Yes.
but who do not care about inclusivity.
Absolutely.
Though they
Absolutely.
have this tagline,
Yes.
we are
Yes.
inclusive schools and
Yes.
this,
Yes.
but we know of, like you
Mm.
also said,
Mm.
instances where such kind of malpractices happen.
Yes, absolutely. Even the teachers, you should ask for the CCTV footage and everything. They would take like children with mild behavior, like high functioning autistic people, or low, just a low IQ. Some those who will be easily managed. They don't have to. They don't want to put that extra effort to just to build a child's life. Nobody wants to take that. So there are small organizations, like you said, small schools, they are much accepting. Yes, that is true. This is the true scenario of our society, we cannot deny that.
So again, to parents, we did not go for brands, we go for quality.
Right, absolutely.
You mentioned about resource room or special education unit. So what is that in a regular inclusive school, and does it follow the same norms as we see in special schools, or is it different?
It's a very good question. Resource room is a dedicated space or a dedicated room for that matter in a mainstream school who caters to the inclusivity, which is away from the noisy classroom. And a resource room should have a just not for the namesake. It's a resource. We have a resource room. Not so, resource room should be equipped with a few things. Like at one corner, they should have a gym ball or a small ladder or few sensory toys for that matter, so that the children who have meltdowns or some behavioral issues like emotional dysregulation, they can just go there and calm down. It has to be, it will serve as a quiet area for them. And one part of the resource room should have an academic area where the children who have just simple learning gaps or some skill deficits, they can be worked upon by a special educator or a counselor or a shadow teacher for that matter. They can just stitch the gap, and who needs one-on-one attention, that can be done in one corner, and the overall monitoring can be done by a special educator or a school counselor. So resource room should have a few things. And coming to the norms, again I must say that many, maybe a few reputed schools, they CBSE schools, they ICSE school, they may follow a few norms. There are like RPWD has some norms where they have promoted inclusivity by keeping a resource room in every school possible, maybe more than one resource room. But not many schools I have seen, they have a proper norms as per resource room is concerned. Government statutory regulations are followed as per resource rooms are concerned, but they have their own rules. They manage their own resource room in a beneficial way, that I have seen, but not as per the statutory regulations.
A very realistic concern related to this, ma'am. We usually hear these resource rooms from other neurotypical students कि this is, meant for students who are not normal. Arey, this child goes there, which means he is not normal. Individuals who have these disabilities, but like you said, they can understand.
Yes.
At times, they feel hesitant to go to a resource room teacher. So, have you experienced instances like these?
Yes, then again it's a labeling time. Labeling thing, like if the child is going for 2 hours every day to the resource room and is taken away from the mainstream classroom, the children do say, but then I won't blame the children. Children are children. Adults come into picture here. You need to sensitize them. You need to train them. They are young minds. You can, whatever you teach them, even the parents of the neurotypical children, they should say, no, they are your peers, they are same. They just need an extra help. Even you can go and help him. Why don't you go, you take the initiative and help him out or help her out? He is a friend, he is a classmate, she is a friend. So adults come into picture. I never blame the children for that or teenagers for that. Yes, I know bullying issues are there, some cruel acts also happening, but teachers come into play here. The parents also at back home come into play. That is why these workshops, these training programs, online, both online and offline. In COVID times, we have seen so many online things happening. Parents must participate. So what if your children are neurotypical? You are a part of the society where these children exist, right? So isn't it your duty also? Who knows, in this same family, in the next generation, you might have such a child. By that time, you can sensitize yourself, you can train yourself, your acceptability can go high. So no harm in that. If the other child is like has some harmful behavior, of course you will restrict your child not to be overtly mixing up with that. That can be taken care of. But coming to training, coming to sensitization, adults' role is most important, most essential. Children are children. You
True.
can just, they are trainable.
So we find that some of the schools take up this initiative, but still,
They do, still the gap is
yeah,
there.
they will be focusing more on other workshops, more on
Right.
other educational awareness, but awareness related to mental health, awareness related to disability, that is still missing, to be very honest.
Right, right. We still have to work a lot on that ground.
Yes, it is difficult, but it is not impossible.
Not impossible. Why impossible? In these days, schools are taking initiative like the mainstream teachers also get trained for special education workshops like sensitization or behavior modification for that matter. So there are initiatives. Not everything is that bleak, but as you said, the gap is still to be filled.
Lastly, parents, especially mothers, like you said, who feel guilty about taking such decisions to shift their child. Maybe I'm doing some harm to my child. Maybe I should try. So that guilt, they face it. That burden is there in them, and they are blamed for that even at times.
Yes.
So what's your take, and how would you approach such mothers, ma'am?
Yes, I keep talking to the young mothers every time I meet them, or over phone, or physically also. Stop being guilty, train yourself, sensitize yourself, make yourself aware. That will free you of the guilt. When I know that this is what I am supposed to do, you will have no guilt. In fact, you can train other people in your family, you can sensitize, you can talk to them. There's nothing better than talk therapy. Talk to them, make them slowly, make them, bring them into your thought process. Once you be aware, you get yourself trained, then you know the child needs what is best for your child. Then you are free of guilt. Awareness, training, and keep mixing with other people also. Don't keep yourself segregated, don't keep yourself secluded. You have not done anything wrong. You are only the best possible thing that your child has. You have not done anything wrong.
And ma'am, one last thing. Special education, is it a myth that it cannot be continued beyond the age? Like 15, we ideally say 14. So beyond that, do we give special education to individuals?
Yes, we do. This, I will say where this thought comes from, because people think special education is all about reading, writing, calculation, all these things. No, special education is all pervasive. It is a quintessential thing. Special education covers behavior modification, special education covers leisure activities, special education covers daily living skills, special education covers like cognitive development. So all these things come under the purview of special education. How can we stop that? Yes, it is, its primary focus is reading, writing, calculation. That is true. That you can stop after one point of time. If your child, you think, has reached its limit or something, reached his or her limit, then that part you can stop. The academics, the core academic area, you can stop. But still we can continue with the functional things. That you can stop, or that you can give a break to. But what about all these areas? That also come under special education, right?
This is also a very holistic and a broad
Right.
view. So it can continue. It can
Yeah,
continue
it should
even
continue,
into
in
adulthood.
fact. Yes,
When we are
it
teaching
can
something.
integrate with some vocational activities. It can integrate with some pre-vocational activities. But where is the stopping? Special education is overall. It's holistic. It's an umbrella. Everything comes under this. Your cognition never stops. Your daily living skills, learning them never stops. So why would you stop? Your plan will keep changing. Your goals will keep changing as per the requirement of the child, as per the age of the child, as per the, and in for neurodiverse people, we do not consider the biological age. It's just the functional age that we consider. So special education is there.
Thank you, Shutapa ma'am, for such meaningful insights.
Thank you.
It was really very empowering, and it came direct from a mother who is also a special educator.
Thank you.
So, to our viewers out there, again, if you feel that this conversation adds some value, it can be applied, it is insightful, please do not forget to share this video as much as possible. Until we come with next such insightful video, have a look at the videos that are popping up onto your screen. Thank you so much.